Hi, today I'm going to introduce the basic concepts of data science and the data science for biology. So, from the image, also, it is quite representative, as you can see here, that in left side, I'm seeing something digital computing, and right side, the combination of different fields, that is multidisciplinary field. So, if you need to understand the basics of data science, then data science is a multidisciplinary field that combines statistics, mathematics, computer science, and domain expertise to extract meaningful insights from the data. It involves asking the questions, gathering and cleaning the data, analyzing it with algorithms and the statistical models, and communicating findings to solve the real world problems and guide the decision making. This process is iterative, involving a feedback cycle between analysis and refinement of questions or data collection methods. Iterative is also a kind of different word for repetition. Many times you need to repeat in order to achieve the goal, that is the feedback cycle between analysis and the refinement of questions or data collection methods. Now, the core components and the processes of data science. First is questioning. That is, the process begins with asking questions that can be answered with data. This is a key part of data science and forms a feedback loop with answering them. Data collection and preparation. Data is gathered from various sources and then cleaned, curated, and prepared for analysis. This is a crucial and often time consuming step. Analyzing and modeling. This involves using tools and techniques like the programming languages MATLAB, Python, and R, machine learning, and statistical modeling to find the patterns and make the decision process or prediction to make the predictions. Communication insights are communicated through data visualization and other methods to inform decisions and explain the findings. Reproducibility. All the steps are documented to ensure the results are reproducible and reliable. Collaboration. Data science is often a collaborative effort involving teams of experts with different skills sets or different domain expertise. Now, in general, the applications are basically it is used across many industries to answer the business questions, improve the services and operations, predict future trends like sales forecasting, gain competitive advantages, and inform strategic planning and decision making. Now, if you want to understand in the brief or short what is data science is an interdisciplinary field combining statistics, computer science, and domain knowledge. It extracts the insights from structured and unstructured data. It involves data collection, cleaning, analysis, and visualization. These figures are showing the minimum requirement for data science. For example, you need mathematics, statistics, ethical skills, team player skills, lifelong learning skills, communication skills, real world project skills, machine learning skills, data visualization skill, data wrangling and pre-processing, coding skills. And then if you want to summarize the data science, then you need to think what is statistical modeling and computing, what is data technology and data research, Then data consulting, and what are the real world applications, scientific methods, and how to visualize them. So, how data science works. So, as you have understood, that data science is a multidisciplinary field that combines computer and statistics to gain the data insights. An in demand skill that companies need to make smart business decisions with data. Data science includes data analysis, data engineering, machine learning, and many more. So, here, the in general, how it works. So, it starts from the problem, then data collection, data cleaning, data analysis and exploration, data modeling, optimization, and deployment. Now, what are the job markets? So, first thing, if you are from biology background, you have huge opportunities. You can work in the academia where the biological research are ongoing, or you can work in the pharma company, biotechnology companies, genomics companies, and high throughput sequencing or multi-omics data companies. In addition, the data science people can also work in the hospital to analyze the big data, for example, X-ray data, different types of imaging data, scanning data, and pathological reports and surveys. But these fields are not limited. There are more than 50% job applications in finance sections, in different types of industries. So, what are the data science technologies requirements in terms of computer languages or coding? You need to understand basic coding, Python, R, or the database management like SQL, MySQL. Then you need to understand what are the job titles. So, on which posts you can work. You can work as a data analyst, you can work as a data scientist, you can work as a business analyst, or you can work as a data engineer. So, what are the differences between data science and business intelligence? So, first thing, data science is a different approach of looking at the data. You can take a forward looking approach and explain any information or insight in the data set. Using data science, you can analyze the current or past data that helps you to predict the outcomes. This is one way most organizations do their best to make the informed decisions. They can answer various open ended questions. And the difference are in terms of data sources, business intelligence is well structured, usually SQL, often data warehouse. But data science, both structured and unstructured data could be possible. The approach here in business intelligence, you need statistics and visualization as a key command. But in data science, you are not limited to only these things. You need to understand the deep of statistics, machine learning, graph analysis, neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. Focus is on past and present in business intelligence, but in data science, it focuses on present and future. The tools in business intelligence are Pentaho, Microsoft Business Intelligence, ClickView, are then in data science, Rapid Miner, Big ML, Weka, R, Python. Now, if you want to understand the different phases of data science lifecycle, in general, it is summarized into 6 phases. First is identifying the problems and understanding the business, data collection, data pre-processing or processing, data analysis, data modeling, and model deployment. So these six phases are basically the major part of the data science life cycle. But if you are going to study the book, in the book you can see the phases of data science life cycle, something like data preparation, plan the model. So basically, they are in different wordings, but overall, the summarized life cycle, different phases are six. Now, what are the pros and cons of data science? So, of course, fastest growing field, abundance of roles, a versatile field, makes data easier to use, a prestigious career. Of course, you can get easy jobs and highly paid jobs in data science. The cons of data science is a hot career, and many people choose to become a data scientist because it pays very well. But data science is an ambiguous term. It is impossible to master the data science. Of course, there are few exceptions. Top 1% people can work in almost every field of data science. But if everyone wants to work in data science, all the aspects, all the field of data science, it will be quite difficult. So there are a number of pros as well as the cons. So in terms of advantages, it's high in demand, abundance of positions, highly paid career, highly prestigious, versatile, better decision making, predictive analytics. But disadvantage, it's a bloody term. Mastering data science is nearly impossible. Large amount of domain knowledge required. Arbitrary data may yield unexpected results. Problems of data privacy, cost and time bias in data. Now, if you want to understand how the people with biology knowledge can work in data science in biology or biological data science, then you need to understand the basics of biocomputing or bioinformatics, computational biology, systems biology. So, biological data science is an interdisciplinary field that combines biology, computer science, and mathematical science to analyze and interpret the massive data sets generated by modern biological research, such as genomics, proteomics, and imaging. It uses computational tools, machine learning, and statistical methods to find the patterns, build models, and extract the meaningful insights to advance areas like drug discovery, personalized medicine, and disease diagnosis. In addition, there is one more term. If you are working in pharma company, you get almost 50% of the data of clinical trials. And that is where you will get the easy jobs. So from the figures here, you can see, in general, if you want to work in data science, you need to have basics of the biostatistics, statistics, data science, computational biology, and of course, in the end, that is bioinformatics. So, but if you are having good biology knowledge, even up to BSc or intermediate level, then you can easily work in the field of biological data science. And it is much higher paid than the other field of data science. So the core components are here: biology, computer science, statistics, and mathematics. So the biology here, I do not need to tell you which field you require, but definitely you need to understand the genomics, you need to understand the proteomics, metabolomics. And in computer science, you need to understand the algorithms. You need to understand how to store the data and how to perform well for the large data sets and how to automate the analysis process. So, in statistics, you need to have quite basic knowledge. So, which provides the foundation for data summarization, modeling, and statistical inference, with a growing emphasis on machine learning for prediction and pattern recognition. Now, what are the key applications of biological data science? So, the genomics, which is the hot area, drug discovery, healthcare, agriculture, environmental science. But mostly it is multi-omics, that is genomics, proteomics, metabolomics, drug discovery, and healthcare. In agriculture and environmental science, it is used but at lesser percentage. So the best possibility for you to get the job in biological data science is in the field of multi-omics, that is genomics, proteomics, and metabolomics, drug discovery, and healthcare, that is the hospital. What are the skills which you need to develop before you apply for the job in biological data science field? Basic programming either in Python, R, or MATLAB. Analysis, ability to perform the statistical analysis, visualization, and machine learning on application on biological data. Then you also need to understand the database management. So how to store and query large data sets. Scientific and statistical hypothesis formulation, creating testable hypotheses from data and research questions. Now, this is how you can think if you are going to work in biological data science. You need to understand the compounds, genes, their functions, cells, diseases, biological network, network visualization and interpretation, and the nodes and the connection or node connectivities, or also you can say the adjacency matrix. So here you start from data integration to predictive or descriptive biology to predictive biology, that is data integration to machine learning. Now, if you want to jump, you are decided that you are going to work in the field of biological data science, then please be dedicated for domain expertise, research, statistics, data mining, data science, algorithms, analytics, system, programming skills, and of course, human genome data or human multi-omics data. So what are the advantages of data science? This I have already mentioned, and there is no need to repeat it. But in general, if somebody is asking you the top 10 advantages, depending on the domain, you can easily tell the top 10 advantages of data science. For example, here increased sales and better margins if you are working in some selling sectors or the business sectors, then easy to combine and analyze all kinds of data. Employees, teams, and managers perform better, prevents information overload, helps to avoid and to manage the risks. Improved data quality helps to understand market forces and turbulences, more transparency and less risk of fraud. More flexible company driver for new knowledge. Now, the applications of data science here you have already seen: hospital, management, healthcare sectors, finance, retail, transportations. But the most common applications in terms of data science application is business analytics, social media, e-commerce, entertainment, healthcare, finance, manufacturing, and transportation. Then here, the data science application, you can think in different way, in more specialized way. For example, if you are going to work in data science for targeted advertising, then post ads on the website, get targeted customers. If you are working on internet search, then take users query, provide results, show the relevant recommendations. If you are working in e-commerce, then analyze search patterns, recommend the products to consumers, show high quality products. If you are working in education, then look for the latest course, collect the students' feedback, understand the students' requirement. But if you are working in video streaming, analyze the user's data, use machine learning algorithms, recommend the movies. Now, how the data science workflow could work. So you need to think this is the same for the data science life cycle. So problem definition, data collection, data cleaning and pre-processing, exploratory data analysis, modeling and evaluation, deployment and monitoring, and final decision making. So the workflow is here. You can see how it may work. So the first part is quite easy, but you need to make the smart decision before you enter in the middle. That is the main part where you are going to apply some kind of algorithms or approaches. And third part is the decision making process. So as you have already seen the data science workflow, so you need to keep these 5, 6 points in your mind. It will make it much easier to attend the interview or while you are working on the specified jobs or the roles. What are the key tools and technologies in general is required? I will say Python or R is the best thing for your coding part or computer science background part. Then, of course, there are many dependencies or libraries, which here you can see, depending on whether you are going to use Python or MATLAB, Pandas, NumPy, Scikit, and learn TensorFlow, database management, that is SQL and MySQL, then visualization, Matplotlib, Seaborn, Tableau. So these are a number of there are much more tools, smaller tools which you may require. But if you are good in coding, then sometimes or mostly you bypass the dependencies depending on how good you are in coding. Now, the skills required is also, I have mentioned earlier, but you can think the statistical analysis, machine learning, programming, data manipulation, visualization, and storytelling, domain expertise, and communication skills. So you also need to understand the real world case studies. For example, Netflix, personalized content recommendations, Uber, dynamic pricing and route optimization, Amazon, inventory management and customer analytics. But if you are working in the hospital, then someone is having the query on different kind of diseases. Then you can recommend the doctors or you can suggest about which section or department they should contact. Now, after you are introduced about the different phases of data science life cycle, basics of biological data science and data science, then you need to understand how to get the real world data science experience. Here, you need to think about SQL case studies, create tutorial, or teach data science. Teach yourself. Work on a small personal projects. Data science freelancing. Start some kind of a small work, just as a freelance work, and try to deliver it on time with a very good quality. Volunteer as a data scientist. You can also work in the beginning as a data science scientist volunteer. Now, the learning resources, of course, YouTube, Google, and some more places are quite easy and free to learn the data science from basics to advanced level application. But there are some online courses also. I don't think in data science you need to go for some online or paid software tutorials. There are a number of freely available videos for tutorials which you can easily attend. Then you need to have the main idea of the four pillars of data science, that is domain knowledge, which is the must or mandatory part. Basic mathematics and statistics, computer science, communication, and visualization. So, what if you want to understand what is the difference between data science and a statistical science? You can easily compare yourself. If someone is talking about statistical analysis, then it is kind of we are looking for instantaneous problem. That means we are not going to go for some kind of training and taking some source of data and train them in order to get the outcome what we are expecting. So this is the major difference. If someone is saying that just we want to have the mean, this is not data science. That is just a statistics, basic statistics. So in data science, you need to think in a cycle or the phases in different steps. But in a statistics, you need to think about only one problem. Then, if you are looking for statistics, the best and summarized thing in terms of statistics for data science, then you need to think about the types of statistics which are frequently used in data science. One is descriptive statistics and another is inferential statistics. In descriptive statistics, you measure the central tendency, that is mean, mode, median, and measure the variability, that is range, variance, and dispersion. But when you are talking about inferential statistics, so basically in descriptive statistics, you summarizes and organizes the characteristics of a data set, which provide a concise overview without making inferences about a larger population. And it focuses on describing the data's main features, such as measures of central tendencies and variabilities. But in inferential statistics, here it uses sample data to draw the conclusions and make predictions about a larger population. It involves using the probability theory and statistical models to generalize the findings from a smaller group to a larger group. This is in contrast to descriptive statistics, which simply summarizes and describes the data without making broader inferences. So if you want to understand the difference between descriptive and inferential statistics with real problem, for example, if the COVID or any kind of infection is spreading in one particular region, then you can go for simple analysis. How many people, what is the exact population and how many people got infected? Then what is the level of infection and how it has spread to the other people. So here you can think about mean, mode, median, and the out of total population, how many they are getting. But when you are talking about statistical, inferential statistics, then you can predict. So at which rate it will spread to the entire population and how much time will it take. So this is how you are going to predict the future or prediction. This is what I'm saying, prediction. And this is the best in example of applying some kind of algorithm to predict the real spread of any kind of infectious disease from one or two people to the entire population. Now, Here in descriptive statistics, you summarize and organize the characteristics of the data to provide a concise overview without making inference about a larger population. So here you think about mean, mode, median, range, variance, standard deviation, histogram, box plot, pie chart. But in inferential statistics, you think about, so ask every individual, for example, in Africa, if they have been given the polio vaccine. And take a sample of people from the continent, make sure it is from different parts of the continent, and extrapolate the findings across the entire continent. Here you need to think about what is central limit theorem, what is hypothesis testing, and then you go for some conclusive predictions. So this is how you can think about the statistics. You don't need more than this. Now, the skills required for data science I have discussed earlier, but if you want to know the details of the statistics, then you need to think about the algorithm. For example, machine learning algorithm, programming, domain knowledge, data analysis, scripting, data visualization, and then research methods, defining business problems. There are a number of things which could be classified depending on the domain where you are working or you are supposed to work. Now, the analytical tools, how to handle the structured and unstructured data, how to train the system. But finally, when you are looking for the real world application and the real world data science life cycle or phases, here this is the best representation where you can see you start from data collection, then understanding the problem, data acquisition and understanding, then modeling and deployment. And finally, you go for some kind of thinking how to make some conclusive remark or conclusion to present with the group leader or your head who have assigned you the job. And then what is the latest trend in data scientist salary? It is huge. This is, of course, for American salary system, but in India, it is also highly paid salary. So in USA, it ranges from 100. So basically, you can say 100,000 to 144,000 per annum. But depending on in which field you are working, mostly the salary is quite high in educational institutions and health sectors. But it is not mandatory that you are going to work there depending on your area of interest. So there is slight variation. But with respect to the other jobs, it is ranging much higher than the other job at this scale. So the proportions of the industries using data science are software products, finance, consulting, health sector. Here, software products is basically on the top. Then education is on the sixth, seventh position, government organization, of course, and then there are many more areas which are using and this is the percent-wise distribution of different fields or industry where data science is commonly used. So thank you very much for listening and kind attention.